Las Vegas Raiders superstar receiver Davante Adams hasn't been happy with the organization for a while now. It started way before head coach Antonio Pierce liked that IG post. Hence, he took some extra time off after the birth of his child, despite the fact that there weren't any complications. It got real after the Raiders lost to some fleas that called themselves the Carolina Panthers, and it got out after they beat the Cleveland Browns. Then the Raiders were actively shopping him, and now all of a sudden he might not get traded? What? Pierce recently said he's in a good headspace and he's still a Raider. Of course he is until they actually trade him, so what does that even mean? The main thing that Raider Nation wants to know is what happened to the trade. Is he getting traded or not? I have some ideas on that. Listen, this is all speculation here because I'm not in that building, but you don't think the Raiders making backup quarterback Aiden O'Connell the starter and things calming down at the same time are a coincidence, do you? Adams really does like that kid, and he seemed to be all in and excited about him and the direction of the team. Of course, Pierce gave him some input on who the Raiders' next quarterback should be, and he gave O'Connell his stamp of approval. Next thing you know, there's a new GM. He goes out and signs Gardner Minshew and wants to see him play. Adams didn't know who the starter would be at first because they said there would be an open competition. Then as it became more apparent that Minshew would start, Adams became less happy with the Raiders. Then it all came to a head when Minshew cost the Raiders the Panthers game with his ineffective play. Adams can't get the ball and help the team win if the quarterback is looking down at the rush the moment he breaks open. Really, I think the whole team was behind O'Connell, but Adams said it out loud in his own way. In no way am I saying he's staying, but the only reason why there's a chance that he might stay is because Minshew isn't going to be the starter anymore. When the trade talk first started, they said Adams' top two destinations were the New Orleans Saints and the New York Jets. Of course they were. Both teams have quarterbacks that he's played with before, but that doesn't make the grass greener in either spot. Both of those teams are 2-3, just like the Raiders. With the Saints, he'd have to start out with a different quarterback as Derek Carr has an injured oblique, and the only thing greener about the Jets are their uniforms. That organization is in more disarray than the Raiders are at this time. They just fired their head coach, and who knows what direction the team's going in. Who knows who the head coach is going to be next year, and of course, you don't know if quarterback Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. That's the same guy that left Adams in Green Bay a few years ago. Now, of course, it would be worth it to go over there and win the Super Bowl, but how likely is that given the instability over there? You don't want to pack your family up and go all the way across the country for what? 10 games or so, and possibly have to pack them up and leave again unless you really have a chance to win that Super Bowl. And that looks less likely every day in New York, with or without Adams. Another thing that could have killed this trade is owner Mark Davis reportedly stepping in and asking for a second-round pick. The GMs of other teams were circling like vultures when it came out that Adams wanted out, so they could possibly get him cheap. They figured the Raiders were just going to get rid of him because he's a disgruntled receiver, but nope, Davis isn't having that. It might be that he remembers the damage Randy Moss did after the Raiders gave him up for a 4th-round pick. I'm pretty sure a 4th-round pick, a 3rd-round pick at the very most is all the interested GMs are offering the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders will get a 2nd-rounder. It's like bringing in a high-paid mercenary for a short period of time in the place of a guy that you expect to be around for a good 10 years. You better be sure you're a great receiver away from the Super Bowl if you're going to do a deal like that. Meanwhile, Davis is having bad memories of the Randy Moss trade. He just might intend to hold on to Adams and try to get a quarterback for next year. That's another thing that could explain why the trade movement has slowed down a lot. Wow, there's NFL drama, then there's Raider drama. I'm feeling like Charles Woodson right about now. He recently said, why can't the Raiders have nice things? That's true. I still remember when Moss came in and quit on the Raiders. When former head coach John Gruden came back to the Raiders, his first order of business was to trade superstar edge rusher Khalil Mack. The 2 first-round picks they got for him weren't equal value either. Corner Damon Arnett was a dud, and running back Josh Jacobs only stayed healthy for a full season once. He caught the first thing smoking out of here this offseason anyway. Imagine Mack and Crosby together though. That's why Davis stepped in. Thank you for watching. See you next time.